I'm here at what feels like Universal Studios. Not the Universal Studios, but the UK's equivalent. And guess what? It's not in London. What if I told you Victorian London still exists? And you can walk through it today. Once again we find ourselves at Chatham Dockyard, the real life filming location that became the gritty 19th century London in Sherlock Holmes. Starring Robert Downey Jr and Jude Law. Here's the twist though, this isn't London at all, it's a preserved naval dockyard in Kent. So how did it transform into Holmes' dark and dangerous world? It already feels cinematic. So over there, on the far side is where Sherlock Holmes and Dredger had the infamous fight. Quite comical fight in Sherlock Holmes, it has to be said. But a fight nonetheless. Ooh, steps. Let's go this way. Look at that. Look here. Huh. Rude. I'll go the other way. They're trying to keep us out, Crimsonians. Let's go this way. Lost. See you in a sec. After a few more turns here, there and everywhere, I think it should be this way. Lifeboats. Access achieved. This should give us a nice little view. Little bird's eye view. Look at that. Yeah, for that whole set really. Anything that's supposed to be next to the River Thames in London for Sherlock Holmes. This place it's a director's dream. Yeah, so that where he fights Dredger is on that far side. So the ship would have gone out that way into the water, and the fight would have begun over there, which you've seen in another part of this video. Upwards. Another level, story up, and yeah, some amazing stuff here, amazing. Up again, wow. Yeah, so if you come to the dockyard, you're definitely going to get a workout. Look at those beams. What a remarkable place. Oh. Don't want to really disrupt. But look at that. The old struts. And there, look at those timber beams. How old? Anyone want to guess in the comments? You're welcome to. So this is 3 slip cover. And I think, memory serves, the fight between Holmes and Dredger was slip 7. So another floor that way. And then River Thames. In this case, River Medway. Because we're in Kent, remember, not London. Even though it looks a lot like London. I grew up in London and still feels quite surreal. Don't want to go down that way because there's some stuff going on. People carrying out some kind of drill. So we'll leave them to it. Won't disrupt their space. Even though this is known as the big space, and you can see why. Look at that. So abstract and beautiful. Place truly is a maritime marvel. And you could come here and just spend half a day walking around this. I'm so glad, even though it's quite cold and quite gloomy and dark outside, it adds to this video for me. The dark underworld of Holmes and Watson. Another giant piece of machinery. Look at that. Look at this. What is it? What is it? Massive steam hammers. Disassemble. Reassemble. Reassemble number 5. Johnny 5. Anyone know that movie? Short Circuit? 80s classic. Yeah, and when Robert Downey Jr. is navigating those old London streets, it's these streets, or more in the distance there. Setting your screen, we're going over to where a lot of Sherlock Holmes was filmed. So those streets ahead, that's where Sherlock Holmes, aka Robert Downey Jr. would be running through those takes of Sherlock Holmes. That could be any number of places in London's West End. And then you turn this way. Look at that. Every angle, every turn you make in this place, it inspires you to create something else. Whether it's a period drama, it's a movie, or dark, gritty crime, detective thriller, or whatever it is. This place truly inspires. So any artists out there struggling with creative block, get yourself down to Chatham Dockyard, because everywhere I look here, I'm dreaming up new stories. But yeah, those over there, I mean, that could be anywhere in London, Mayfair, Pall Mall, Russell Square, or even Doughty Street, which for those that don't know, is a street that Charles Dickens lived on in London. And you can visit there, it's open as a museum. So if you're around Doughty Street, which is sort of in between Holborn and Russell Square, pay a visit. It's definitely worth a visit. And I've just done a video on Charles Dickens, a location from Great Expectations, and I'm hoping to do a lot more Dickens content at some point. But anyway, I digress. Back to Holmes. Interesting side note, segue if you will. The surgery and the medical services at Chatham Dockyard. Surgeons started providing medical care to the sailors and civilians working in and around the dockyard from about the mid-1500s. So mid-1500s, look at that. I'll hold that there in case you want to read the rest. You can pause the screen. We're going to move on. But look at that, truly walking history. Getting exercise at the same time. Even though it's cold, but warming up definitely now. I have to stop for a refreshing beverage. Warm up the fingers a little bit. And then we will continue with Sherlock Holmes. And I believe they're following me because from the big space now down here, they're standing still like statues, maybe thinking that I don't see them. I see you. They are following me. That is my deduction, Watson. I am being followed. Back to Baker Street. That is the Grade 1 listed Commissioner's House. Commissioner's House was originally built in 1640 for Phineas Pett, the first resident commissioner, his family and staff. By 1703, apparently the building was in poor condition, and Master Shipwright Robert Shortless advised rebuilding rather than repairing it. What a stunning building that is. Right, onwards to Sherlock Holmes locations. Remember that looming sense of conspiracy in Sherlock Holmes? You know, iron, brick, smoke, reinforce that feeling of a city on the edge of modernity and danger. Look at that. And I know what you're saying, that looks like Call the Midwife. And you'd be right, it is. This dockyard, this location, the Universal Studios of Kent has hosted so many fantastic productions. And today's one, it's going to be Sherlock Holmes. And we'll look at it in a little bit, but if you look at that, it might be that one, or it might be the one in the adjacent street where the cart goes across and hits a divot in the road and the wheel splashes and Holmes hears it when he's blindfolded inside the carriage, but he hears the splash and knows exactly where he is in London because the wheel hits the divot and makes the splash, if you recall from the movie. Anyway, we'll see that, if it is that one or the one that's in the adjacent street by the ropery, in due course. Let's match up some shots, shall we? We're fast approaching the first shot, the first movie matchup from Sherlock Holmes, which is just in the distance. You can see coming into view, but the shot was actually taken from the other side. So I've arrived to stop number 1 for movie locations from Sherlock Holmes, and it's what was used as Pentonville Prison in the movie, but here it's the main gate to Chatham Dockyard. This is where Holmes and Watson go in to see Lord Blackwood. And there we are, and that is where the story begins. Chatham's main gate, which in Sherlock Holmes transformed into Pentonville Prison in London. And we're going to match up the shot with the image from the movie now, so you can see to and from. And yeah, right there, Holmes and Watson going in to see Lord Blackwood. See, they're still heavy on the Call the Midwife, which is a previous video that was recorded, so locations from Call the Midwife, which you're welcome to go and view, and hope you enjoy that. So yeah, shot number 1, Pentonville Prison, also known as main gate to Chatham Dockyard. So there you go, shot number 1 done. The plaque, that plaque, how amazing is that? It's beautiful. Let's get me out of the photo so you can see what's really important. Oh, this one don't actually zoom in if I'm reversed. That's a new phone, I'm just getting used to it. But yeah, the plaque, I've stood up on the building there. Let the siren go past. Plaque is George III, King George III, and was first erected in 1811. Just a bit of history there for you. Just spoke to the security guard there, came out, just have a nice little chat. Lovely guy. Had a good chat, not only about the movies and film productions and TV productions that have been filmed at the dockyard, but also the importance of the naval side of it as well. But yeah, lovely staff here at the dockyard, so as long as you come here and you be respectful to the integrity of the place, then you'll have no issues. They're quite happy for photographs and filming and so on. Look at this. I would guarantee that that building has been featured in one of those, in a movie of some kind or another, or a TV show. I need to do a bit of research on that, because that is another perfect opportunity to be used on set on a production of some kind or another. Right, without further ado, let's get to the next matchup. Before we reach our second stop, movie shots for Sherlock Holmes, I'm going to just make a little stop here that's quite relevant, just to the area. John Dickens, father of Charles Dickens, worked here as a pay clerk, 1817 to 1822. Ah, John Dickens. Charles Dickens' father worked as a pay clerk in this building, 1817 to 1822. Right, on to stop number 2. Just to be clear, this is not stop number 2, and we're no longer in Kent, but briefly in London. On the back of seeing what was Pentonville Prison in the movie, it may be a good time to include that Guy Ritchie did shoot the interiors at Somerset House in London, specifically where Holmes visits Blackwood in his cell. The underground passages and surrounding perimeter areas of Somerset House were utilised to represent the Victorian era prison. The location features in the scene where Blackwood, played by Mark Strong in the movie, possesses a prison guard while still in his cell. 2 key areas used for underground passages in Somerset House were the Lightwells and the Dead House. While Somerset House is a common filming location for period dramas, it was specifically used for some exterior and interior prison-like scenes for this production. With that being said, back to the dockyard. Right, sorry I still haven't found stop number 2, but I have found this. It says it's cellar 16 and then descends. Let's go and see what's down there. Wow, the smell. That musty old smell. Just a locked door, I assume. Yeah, it's well and truly padlocked. I'll have to explore. Even though I didn't know what was going to be down there. But exciting nonetheless. And the sun is out. What a lovely day. Right, let's try and find this next stop. I found a street already that looked fairly similar. There must be another one, so we can match it up properly and be absolutely 100% sure. Also, still haven't found shot 2, by the way. Still on a mission for it. I will find it, I promise. But yeah, about 12 years ago, I wrote and co-produced a short film that was shot right here. If I remember, I'll try and put the link to it in the description of this video, and feel free, if you're interested, go and watch it. It was a period piece. Right, that lovely lady who's just walking back down there works at the dockyard, and she pointed out where stop 2 was, and it's where I started about 20 minutes ago, but I couldn't quite line it up. But she assures me this is where it took place. She was here when the movie was filmed here. So stop 2, the Punchbowl Pub exterior, and it's going to be this. And there you are. So it's more probably actually about there. And there were additions added to the set to cover things up. There was a false building going across left to right, but you can still see the chimneys of the building that you can now see. You can see them just about in the image from the movie, and then the windows at the far end on the right hand side, those 3 windows, they were covered. Facade put across. Movie magic. That is stop number 2, Punchbowl Pub exterior. So the Punchbowl Pub from Sherlock Holmes, right down here it would have been the setting for brawls and confrontations. Holmes' trademark chaos in the movie. Interiors were shot elsewhere, as expected. Now the next stop we're going to be looking for is the Victorian Ropery Courtyard, which in the movie is the prison yard exterior, and it should be further along this side. What to look out for, it says, turn right from the Punchbowl Pub, continue toward the long brick buildings of the Ropery, which is this way. So apparently it wasn't the way I was walking at all. It's actually the opposite way. Another lovely person just asked me can I help? And I said, yes, I'm looking for this exact location, but due to it all looking very similar, and I want to make sure I get the right spot and not just something that looks vaguely like the still. And she kindly said, yes, about turn and the other way. So it should be further along this route, all being well. And this is now shot number 4, because 2 and 3 were both interiors of the Punchbowl, and they did film a little bit of the exterior. Sorry, they shot a bit of the interior and a lot of the exterior outside. But I'm hopeful that we are now near to where the prison yard is. So the prison yard exterior shot from Sherlock Holmes, where Holmes and Watson, Downey Jr and Jude Law were held. There's 2 angles, the first angle of which is going to be this. It's about the shot, and I'll cut the image in from the movie so you can see, but it's pretty much that shot, and there's things that stand out. Of course in the brickwork you can match up as well. And the second angle, for one reason or another, is there. And I'll tell you why. If you look between the footage from the movie and this clip, the answer lies, like a detective, in those middle stones, those middle bricks, the ones that are coming diagonally down from left to right. We can match those to the reverse angle of that courtyard scene in the movie. So to show you the full area from where the prison yard scene was filmed, it would have been right here, where so many films and TV shows have been filmed. That one would be familiar. That one, Les Mis, and this was also Sherlock Holmes. Also, Mr. Selfridge was filmed just off down there, where they constructed a building. But that main prison yard scene from Sherlock Holmes, which is what we're talking about here, that first shot you saw was about there, and the reverse was that strange shot where they'd have had to have built the construction on the side, on the right hand side, and then the left to cover this lamppost. But those bricks that we saw are right there. So our next stop on this Sherlock Holmes movie location tour brings us to trying to find the correct arch, the right arch used in the movie, where the cart goes across, races past with a blindfolded Holmes inside, and it catches the divot and makes a splash that makes him aware of his exact location. And if we go closer, you can see there's a little doorway behind. I believe in the movie there were people sort of selling things, like a little market stall set up there in the movie. That could have very well been this one, or failing that, just further along, if we make our way up here. And this would have given the camera crew more space on this right hand side to set up the shot, to have it lit perfectly, and then the cart would have come from that way moving fast right to left, and then that would be the other one, the other option. Enough space to have the cart fully involved there. There's no visible divot. There are ways around that. Still has the doorway and enough room for the other actors to be able to set up a market stall down there in the background of the shot. Which one do you think it is? Leave a comment below. Stop number 6. We're here at Turk's Boatyard, Slip 7, where Holmes fights Dredger in the movie. And with that being said, these weathered warehouses and Victorian chimneys became the industrial heart of London on screen. The soot-stained brick and steel silhouettes made CGI almost unnecessary because London's past was already here. So that's going to do it for the Sherlock Holmes instalment of movie locations filmed here at the historic Chatham Dockyard in Kent. And an apt place to finish, the Punchbowl. If only it was still there and it was real and it wasn't just more movie magic. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next video. Cheers.